that ice cream van, seriously. It's been round twice. Thank the Lord. So in today's video, I want to talk to you guys about my experience with working on a cruise ship with nephrotic syndrome and the food situation. So as you guys probably already know, if you have nephrotic syndrome or any autoimmune disease, it tends to be a diet of low sodium, low fat, and low sugar. Now, working on a cruise ship was very interesting dietary requirement wise. So let me take you back to the very beginning of when I first moved out to America. So for 1 month we had rehearsals in Florida, and during this time it was great. We had a weekly food shop. We would either go to Target, Aldi that we have in the UK anyway, or what's the other supermarket called? Or Walmart. Now, doing these weekly food shops was normal to me because obviously I did that back in the UK anyway. But what I did find was when I read the labels on things, a lot of things were really high in salt. Now, I don't know whether that is an American thing, whether it's the specific supermarket thing, but I found that everything that I wanted to eat and put in my basket that I would maybe even normally eat in the UK had really high salt contents. So that, for one thing, was kind of awkward to work around. I tended to live off like chicken, pasta and veg, or some meat, rice and veg. Everything just had veg in it basically, because a lot of things just had salt in it. Now after that, after 1 month of rehearsal, we then got transferred to the ship to then obviously embark our journey, embark our work. We were the source of entertainment on board the ship, if you guys didn't know that. When you work on a ship, there are 2 places that you can possibly eat, and being in entertainment, we did have many privileges that I will be forever grateful for. And we had 2 places to eat. One of them was called the mess, and this is where every single member of staff could eat, and everyone would basically go to the mess when it was their time off or their time to eat. Another place was the garden. Now the garden is for guests and some staff, and we were lucky enough to be able to eat in the garden. Now the garden was food that was, to be honest, sometimes a lot nicer than the food in the mess. The food in the mess was very much the same thing every single day. But to be honest, what I did find was the food in the garden was a lot saltier than the food in the mess. I didn't know whether they purposely made the food more salty so maybe that people could buy more drinks, because obviously that is another way that the company makes money. I'm really not sure. Overall, I found that the food in the garden on the cruise ship was either really high in salt content, really high in fat content. Also, the worst part of it, I mean the best and the worst part, there were so many desserts. There was cakes, there was muffins, there was cheesecake upon cheesecake upon cheesecake. Now, me not having an overall sweet tooth, I didn't really bother about the dessert section, but towards the end of my contract, I caved in and I just had dessert upon dessert upon dessert. So what I tried to do was try and go for the more healthy option, and they did have a salad bar. I think there was like, as soon as you walked in, there was one straight away, and then there was another one like round the back. So on the salad bar, they would always do like fresh vegetables, fresh salad. These would be things like sweet corn, cucumber, lettuce, rocket. I think once there was spinach there, but I can't quite remember, but I think there was. There was chickpeas, there was beetroot, there was raw onion. There was a lot, to be honest. This is where you have to be really savvy in what kind of salad that you wanted to make it less salty. At first, honestly, what I would do is get a lot of salad on my plate, some sort of protein. So I'd like walk to a different section and maybe get like a piece of chicken or a piece of beef or a couple of meatballs and stick that onto my salad. But then this is where I was going wrong. I would then pick up the sauce that would go with the salad, not realising that that sauce had a lot of salt in it, because it had gotten to a point where I couldn't tell what was salty and what was normal anymore, because I remember my friends being like, oh, this is actually quite salty today. And honestly, I wouldn't have a clue. So I feel like I was eating a lot of salt and more than I probably should have been. Another bit of advice would be to, if you're obviously not gluten-free, because I know that a lot of people with NS are either gluten-free or vegan, but this is if you're not any of those, because I'm not anymore anyway. I tended to either get a salad or I would get a big pile of rice or pasta, because I know that that would fill me up, and it was plain. Like, they would give out plain pasta or plain rice, and I would put that on my plate with a piece of meat that had no sauce on it and a bit of veg. To be honest, the veg on the ship wasn't great. I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it wasn't cooked properly, so that kind of sucked. But I would still go for the veg and still be grateful that there was veg on the ship, and I would also put a lot of that on my plate, because obviously veg, fruit and all that good stuff fills you up really quickly. Then for dessert, I don't know about other cruise lines, but the cruise line that I worked for and the ship that I worked on specifically always had a fruit station, which I was so grateful for. And they would always have fresh melon, fresh watermelon, crunchy apples, oranges. I think once they even had pears, but maybe I'm making that up because I love pears, but I can't remember if they were there or not, but I think they were. And what I would do is I would either grab an apple for later and put it in my fridge in my room, or I would just eat it there and then. But I know that I would always get a slice of melon, even if it was just one, because obviously 5 a day keeps your doctor away. Take advantage of the fruit that's on the cruise. Now, I know that this video in general probably isn't going to help the majority of you, but I know that maybe some people who go on holiday on cruise ships or just holiday resorts in general, and obviously you can have the option to be catered for, so then you have like the buffet there and everything, blah blah blah. So I feel like this video would kind of count for those as well. But overall, I think it was kind of okay to cope for 6 months, but I definitely couldn't do it for more than that. I do like having control of my own food. I do like cooking for myself and knowing what's going in my food, but I think for the time that I was on the ship and working for the company, it wasn't too bad, and I am grateful that they still had like plain rice, fruit, some veg, a salad bar. Like, I was really grateful for that. I think if you are either going on holiday on a cruise or going to a holiday resort where you've booked an all-inclusive, then honestly, keep these things in mind and still be wary that yes, you're on holiday and yes, you should have a good time, but also be careful what you're putting into your body, because it can take that to cause a relapse maybe, and you really don't want that, and I wouldn't want that for you guys. And honestly, I would hate to know that anybody got a relapse because they ate too much salt on a holiday. But that's it for the video today, guys, and again, thank you so much for everyone who has subscribed so far and also followed my new Instagram page and is basically coming on this big journey with me. If you enjoyed this video, then do not forget to subscribe to my channel and click that notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a new video. For now, I'll see you next time, guys. Bye!